School students put their diplomatic skills to the test at a mock United Nations forum recently held at JCU. Each of the 8 schools from around the Townsville area were assigned countries which they represented. Weeks of research went into the preparation leading up to the forum, investigating the critical factors and the position of their nation on the topic of eliminating child labour.
South Africa has had an extensive history with child slave labour. However, the issue is becoming far more serious. However unpalatable, it is still very truthful that child slave labour has been required by many South African families that cannot afford sustenance and require additional income support.
Here we see something of a difference between the view that we might take of child labour in the West, where we see it as something of a moral issue, and certainly it is an issue of human rights, where children are engaged in vulnerable occupations and in areas of work where they simply shouldn't be. But we need to remember that from the point of view of developing countries, very often having children in a family working is a matter for their survival too. So we see developing countries often have a different perspective from that of the richer countries of the world.
In the end, it wasn't our local students that took out the top spot, but rather our outside visitors, Ingham State High School.
We spoke really confidently and we tried to take on the characteristics of that of a UK diplomat.
Did you? Through documents from the ILO and the UN and all that, reading.
A lot of arguing, debating.
We kind of discuss the ideas among ourselves that we would bring here today, and kind of developed our ideas through arguing.
We had a good attack plan.
This year, however, for the first time, the judges decided to add a second-place winner, going to Atherton State High for the close competition on the day.
I think all of us, I can speak for all of us when we said we didn't realise how big child labour was before we started this.
Definitely made social studies look like a much more viable career choice for me. I've been more of a science person, but doing this I kind of thought, hey, this could be a cool thing to do.
Because as you would have heard from the speakers at the start, really it's about the Townsville region, and I'm now in the far north Queensland region. But they didn't have a program like that up there, so I rang the university and spoke to Serena and Vivian and asked if schools from the Tablelands could come down and be involved. And I really do feel very passionately about not only supporting the YDP program here at James Cook, but also giving those kinds of opportunities to kids who live a little bit further out than Townsville, because like you'd hear too, some of the kids, they get very excited about the idea of going to Canberra as the big smoke. Well, kids in the Tablelands thought the visit to Townsville was broadening their horizons and ideas.
What do you think the judges liked about you that gave you that?
Our stunning good looks.
My name is Marion Walker-Campbell, reporting for JCNN.